Hello, I'm Ryan Deering McCormick III, and welcome to the shallow end, my dudes. I hope everyone's doing okay. I'm having a tough time myself. So I lost my Juul, so I made my dad buy me a ventilator, but it doesn't hit at all. And I'm starting to think this thing isn't even a vape. But then why do people want them so badly? Anyway, to cheer myself up, I've been making some sweet art out of our family stockpile of toilet paper and N95 masks. I call this one Boobs. I'm here today to give a voice to students like me, a low-income student. You know, a student whose family gets its income by owning a majority stake in the company Lowe's. I'm going to talk about Northwestern's choice to move to universal pass-fail grading, or as the snowflakes are calling it, pass-no-pass grading. The libs are arguing that giving good old-fashioned American letter grades is somehow unfair because some people aren't able to do schoolwork because of circumstances beyond their control. Okay. So instead of students earning letter grades by pulling themselves up by their tutor's bootstraps, these socialists want us all to get the same passing grade. What is this, Soviet Russia? I thought this was undergrad, not Stalingrad. Boomtown. As you can already see, PassNo blows harder than that whale I rented for my 16th birthday. Who knew that whales needed water? Aren't they supposed to be mammals? Anyways, let's splash in. So there are a few reasons that people say we need universal pass-no pass in order to make things equitable, but all of those reasons are dumber and weaker than Chad. Fucking told you I'd get you, Chad. Eat a shitburger, bro. First, some students will supposedly be at a disadvantage because it'll be difficult for them to focus if their home is an unsafe working environment, but there's an easy fix. Wear a hard hat. I'll even lend you mine. And if the environment is really that bad, just leave. Take the limo if your dad revoked your plane privileges. God, I hate being grounded. Second, some students can't connect to classes due to inadequate technology or poor internet connection. I got you, bro. Just take your Wi-Fi enabled dab pen offline, or just unplug your butler. Boom, problemo salvado, mi amigo. And if it's your computer giving you the problem, just use your iPhone X. You know, the one your mom gave you for Mother's Day. Third, apparently some students need to work to support their families, but trust me, I know all about working for my family, which is why we need letter grades this quarter, because if I don't get above a 2.6, I can't go work for my dad's consulting firm. What am I supposed to do then? Go work for my uncle's consulting firm? Psh. Fourth, some students have been whining about how they might have to take care of sick family members or how they might get sick themselves, and to that I say, there's an easy solution. And I'll explain it to you in just a second, but before I do that, I just want to pause for a minute and say, what is going on? Can someone please explain this whole sickness thing to me? Why is everyone hiding? So, now that I've solved all your problems, we don't need pass-fail anymore. But do we need letter grades? Yes, and here's why. Reason number one, kids like me need grades for their scholarships. I do not want to lose my scholarship. My dad got it for me when I got my first C+. And I know what the haters will say. Organizations that give scholarships will be forgiving of extreme circumstances. Well, to that I say, people who give scholarships to underprivileged students are notoriously cutthroat. I doubt those greedy charities could ever understand these circumstances. Reason number two, I'm counting on good grades this quarter to get into med school. What are my parents supposed to do if my grades aren't good enough to get into Feinberg? Donate a third building? Also, what if the doctors reading my med school application forget about the global pandemic? That's so not Boomtown. Reason three, we need to think about the people who are most vulnerable and most affected by this virus. Students who slacked their entire time at college and waited until the last possible second to boost their grades with the easiest possible courses. Not everyone has the courage to do what these people decided to do. And what, we're just gonna punish them for being lazy? That's just un-American. And now for one last thing that my producer, my dog, Kresge, said that we needed to cover today. Mandatory pass-no pass versus optional pass-no pass. Basically, this is about whether students should be able to choose for themselves if they want to receive letter grades. So, What I've been hearing from the penis gallery is that optional no pass would disproportionately hurt low-income minority students in adverse working conditions who could be forced to choose the pass option, leading to them being seen as lesser than more privileged students whose situation allows them to choose the letter grading option, hurting future grad school and employment opportunities of those disadvantaged students. And sure, you could say that this problem is indicative of a deeper systemic issue rooted in our nation's racism that continues to exploit a segment of our nation's population that is overwhelmingly black and brown, disregarding their voices and upholding a racist hierarchy that rewards the accomplishments of mediocre white men. But all I hear is that these students just aren't believing in themselves hard enough. You see, I believe in something called trickle-down economics majors. It's simple, really. It starts with all of the economics majors getting really good letter grades in their classes. And then those good letter grades eventually trickle down to the rest of the students. Does it work? Absolutely. Do I know how or why it works? Not really. Anyway, Kresge is telling me that we're almost out of time, so I'll make this quick. This whole thing is like the famous trolley problem you learn about in Philosophy 101. It's an impossible ethical dilemma. Imagine there's a trolley going down a track, and unless you pull a lever, that trolley will hit a bunch of disadvantaged students. But if you pull the lever, it hits no one and disappears, but then I don't have a trolley anymore. And I like trolleys. Anyway, thanks for dipping your toes in the water with me today, viewer. This is Ryan Deering McCormick III signing off and reminding you, when they go deep, we go shallow.
I like trolleys, 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 I like those trolleys, I like trolleys, I like trolleys, trolleys, trolleys.
Okay.